Yeah, going fantastic. And you're right, I do have a long and somewhat checkered history, some may say, as well across the channel. Yeah, so look, really, the genesis of my career is was a database guy from way back, and started my own business focusing on SQL Server. And it was sort of the Australian way: you whack a Y or an O at the end. Wardo didn't sound particularly good, so we went with the Wardy option, and we grew Wardy IT Solutions to be recognised as the global leader and an expert in them. They do, but what do then customers then go to that? In the Wardy IT Solutions days, we were known for SQL Server, so do one thing and do it incredibly well. Little did most people know that in the background there are a number of other services that we were providing to customers well, around data analytics, around software development as well. But people would come to us specifically for that. And the analogy I use all the time when talking to people is the Norman Hotel in Brisbane. So famous steak restaurant, its tagline is actually Brisbane's worst vegetarian restaurant. Everyone knows them. Everyone knows them for steaks. But once you get there, you get the fresh shucked oysters off the bay, you get an amazing vintage red wine cellar, boutique beers that rotate on tap every single week, but they don't talk about that. And I think one of the challenges with technology partners is really talking about this broad portfolio of services, as opposed to being famous to be able to then attract someone and stand out in what is often a crowded market. To me is about the ability to drive efficiency. Look, I think the ability to be able to then do things faster, and I often think that as technologists we've almost become plumbers. How do we go and connect one system to another system in order to be able to then drive that efficiency and automation there? And that so Digital Team solves the biggest challenge that every technology business has today, and that's being able to find the right skills at the right price. That scenario that you've described about being able to find the contemporary skills that are needed, especially around the momentum around cloud and modern capability that's required. I often joke with customers that finding talent's like trying to find rocking horse poo. It just doesn't exist. Yeah, look, Sri Lanka's really become the hotbed for modern contemporary skills. So up until about 17 years ago, Sri Lanka was really locked off from the rest of the world because of the civil war that occurred over many, many years. When that civil war finished, the government was incredibly progressive at the time. They realised that being predominantly an agricultural-based GDP, that wasn't going to enable them to accelerate and grow globally. So they really focused on becoming a knowledge-based economy. So heavily invested in science, technology, engineering and maths, and continued to grow and continue to build that. Yeah, we work through really three main customers. Our business is 100% channel focused, so we're really about enabling partners to be able to find the skills they need to meet their own customer needs. And what we found is that the traditional managed service providers, or TSPs in the more modern terminology, that ability to find that capability. We also find system integrators are looking for those specialist skills, especially skills like Dynamics and Power Platform, which is incredibly difficult in the Australian market, but also then skills in software dev as well. So really across each of those three domains, we're building solutions for amazing customers. And that's everything from a very, very large ISV over in the US, where we're building development capability for them, through to organizations locally like GoMist that's upsetting and really disrupting the whole finance market in fintech for overseas students. Yeah, typically it's longer term employees. I often describe that an organisation will wake up on a Monday morning because they won a bluebird the week before, or unfortunately they've received that resignation letter that's come over their desk in a Monday morning.
Yes.
They're looking for a different way to go and solve that talent problem. So by building a full-time team, they lean in, they become part of the organisation, they wear the polo shirt, they are part of the all hands, the stand-ups. They're really just a full-time employee that happens to be sitting in a lower cost arbitrage. Yeah, the common question that people ask is how fast can we move? Because customers always have a really rapid demand. We can have boots under the desk in 5 weeks. So our process is that we don't carry a bench. We're not trying to jam a square peg in a round hole. We know that every role is different. So a Power BI role in one organisation is very different to a Power BI role in a different organisation. So we take the time to understand the specific laundry list of technical skills, but also understand the culture of the individual organisation as well to make sure that we get that right fit. So within a week, we'll have candidate flow and have candidates in front of an organisation because we want them to be part of the process. I think it's back to what we mentioned before around differentiation, just simply thinking about what are you famous for? What makes your business different and what makes it stand out?